Good morning, everyone. My name is Jane Cortez Gagwan, and I'm here to present to you the IT 201 Capstone and Research 1 second semester 2023-2024. So, according to Middle French, researchy to go about seeking. In Old French, researcher, re plus searcher or searcher. What is research? According to Martin Shuttleworth, gathering of data, information, and facts for the advancement of knowledge. According to Creswell, research is the collecting and analyzing information to increase our understanding of a topic or issue. Steps include pose a question, collect data, and present answer. And according to Webster defines the term research as a careful and systematic study and investigation in some field of knowledge. It is a careful and systematic since a course of action may only be known by first defining the condition that needs corrective measures followed by an analysis of its background and effects. So the importance of research, a quest for knowledge and understanding, an interesting and perhaps useful experience, a way to broaden the frontiers of knowledge, a way to improve quality of human life, a course for qualification, a career, an essential process for commercial success, and an ego boost for you. So here are the characteristics of a researcher. First is you have the intellectual curiosity, the reflective thinking or inquiry, getting information as to novelty or unusualness, seeking questions, constant reading, using experiences, creativeness or inventiveness. Lastly is the testing hypothesis. The second one is the prudence. Conducting the study at the right time, at the right place, wisely, economically, efficiently. Doing the right thing at the right time. The third is healthy criticism. Doubtful as to veracity of the results, truthfulness of the findings. And the last one is the intellectual honesty. Honest in collecting or gathering data and arriving at honest results. Now, I will discuss the characteristics of research. This is the empirical, logical, cyclical, analytical, replicability, and critical. When we say empirical, it is the based on direct experience or observation. Collection of data relies on practical experience without benefit of the scientific knowledge or theory. Second one is the logical, based on valid procedures or principles, done in orderly manner, drawing valid conclusions. The third is the cyclical, starts and ends with a problem. From conclusions and recommendations, many researchable problems pop up. Cycle is repeated but must follow the definite format and style. The fourth one is the analytical. Applying analytical procedures, this is the historical research, the past. Descriptive research, the present. Experimental research is the future. Case study is the past, present, and future, the combination of all. So, the number five is the replicability. Research designs procedures are replicated. Comparison of similarities and differences. The more applications, the more valid conclusive result to arrive at. The last one is the critical. Careful and precise judgment. Establishing high level of confidence. 1% level of confidence, 5% level of confidence. So now I will discuss the types of research. Pure research, applied research, and action research. When we say pure research, it is the basic research or fundamental research, aims at discovering the basic truths or principles to add to a body scientific knowledge. When we say applied research, this is the application of scientific knowledge to the solution of problem. This is the development of new system, procedure, device, or method. Problem is identified, a new system is applied. The last one is the action research. This is the decision-oriented research, application of steps of scientific method. Next is the classification of research. Number one is the library research. Library research is conducted in the library such that answers are available in the library. Historical research, past, primary, or secondary sources are available in the library. Next is the field research. This is the conducted in a natural setting. No changes in the environment, applicable to descriptive survey and experimental methods. Next is the laboratory research, conducted in artificial or controlled conditions, isolating the study in an operationalized area to test the hypothesis, to control variance, to discover the relations between the DV and IV. Laboratory research applicable to experimental, descriptive, and case study methods. So here are the types of variables. First is the independent variable or the IV. Stimulus variable determines the relationship to an observed phenomenon. Independent variable is manipulated. Next is the dependent variable or the DV. Response variable observed and measured to determine the effect of the IV. DV changes when the IV varies. Third is the moderate variable. This is the secondary or special type independent variable to ascertain if it alters or modifies the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. Independent variable affects DVB, but factor C is suspected to modify the relationship between A and B, so C is the moderator variable. Next is the control variable. Variable controlled by the researcher. Effects can be neutralized by eliminating or removing. Independent variable A affects dependent variable B. The researcher may control D, control variable, because he cannot do many variables simultaneously. Next is the intervening variable. Variable that interferes the IV and DV. Effects can either strengthen or weaken the IV and DV. IVA affects DVB. Intervening factor F might have an effect on DV. Next is the steps to scientific research. You have the observation and formation of the topic, hypothesis, conceptual definition, operational definition, gathering of data, analysis of data, data interpretation, tests, revising of hypothesis, and conclusion. So here are the research design. First is the historical method. When we say historical method, history deals with past events. Systematic critical inquiry of the whole truth of the past event using critical method in the understanding and interpretation of facts, current issues, or problems. Next is the uses of historical method. This is the number one is searches the past for solutions to contemporary problems and needs. Second is the throw light on the present. Gives people a sense of continuity of the past to the present. Enables communities to grasp their relationship with the past to the current issues. And last is the chronicles events of enduring worth upon people consciousness of unity and a feeling of importance of human achievement. Next is the descriptive method. When we say descriptive method, this is the present conditions. Develop purpose to find new truth, increase knowledge, new generalization, new causal relationship, more accurate formulation of problem. In a development of new instrument, this is the test, questionnaires, interview, observations, schedules, checklists, scorecards, and rating skills. In descriptive method, there are how many types of descriptive method? This is the descriptive survey, descriptive non-normative, descriptive status, descriptive analysis, descriptive classification, descriptive evaluative, descriptive comparative, correlational surveys, and longitudinal surveys. In descriptive method, there are types of descriptive research. This is the descriptive survey. When we say survey, this is the gathering of data regarding present conditions to prove the value of facts, to focus attention on important things. This is the questionnaire as gathering instrument, psychological and social aspect of research, facts, and influences. Next type of descriptive method is the descriptive normative. Normative is asserting the norm or typical condition, comparing result of local tests with a national norm. Next is the descriptive status. Answers question to the real facts relating the existing conditions, determines the prevailing conditions in a group of cases chosen for study, stresses current conditions with an implications of the idea that thing will change. Next is the analysis. Determines and describes the nature of a thing by separating it into its parts. Determines the kind, quantity, proportions of parts that form a whole. Determines the composition, structure, substructure that occur as units within the larger structure. Next is the descriptive classification. This is the natural sciences. Specimens collected as classified from phylum to species. Next is the descriptive evaluative. Appraises the worthiness of this current study. Uses questionnaire to evaluate. Next is the descriptive comparative. Consider two entities not manipulated and establishes a formal procedure for gathering criterion data as basis to compare and conclude which of the two is better. Next is the correlative survey. This is the determines the relationship of two variables, the x and y, whether the relationship is perfect, very high, marked, slight, or negligible. Perfect positive correlation with a value of 1.0 is seldom happened. Perfect negative correlation with the value of negative 1.0 is also rarely happened. And lastly, of descriptive method, types of descriptive research is the longitudinal surveys. Involve much time allotted for investigation of the same subjects at two or more points in time. The third research design is the experimental method. This is the problem-solving approach. Describe what will happen when certain variables are controlled or manipulated. Natural sciences with limitations on fields of education, psychology, and sociology. Expected to reveal cause and effect relationship. In experimental method, there are 5 types of experimental method. This is the single group design, parallel group design, counterbalance design, pretest post-test group design, complete randomized design. When we say the single group design, it involves a single treatment with 2 or more levels. Mean and analysis of variance, or the ANOVA, are statistical tools to be used. Mean determines the acceptability or effectiveness of a particular product. The ANOVA determines the significant difference of the quality attributes of the product. Next is the parallel group design. Two or more groups are used simultaneously with only one single variable is manipulated or changed. Experimental group is varied. Parallel groups serve as the control for the comparative purposes. Next is the counterbalance design. This is the quasi-experimental design. or what we call the rotation design, involves an exchange of two or more treatments taken by the subjects during the experiment. Latin square, each variable in a form of square occurs once in a row or column. The fourth one is the pretest-postest group design. This involves experimental group and the control group carefully selected through randomized procedures. Pretest is given to both groups at the beginning of the semester and post-test at the end of the semester, but control group is isolated from all experimental influences. The last one is the complete randomized design. This is the group of test plants or animals is studied only once by subsequent treatment is applied to determine the cause of change. No control group, but the subject will undergo randomization procedures. The next research design is the case study method. Case study method is a problem-solving technique that the study is described from the past, present, and the future, or the combination of all. Categorized under descriptive, however, it is more distinct if this technique is placed in another method which is independent with the other. An intensive investigation of a particular individual, institutions, community, considered as the unit which includes development, adjustment, remedial, or corrective procedures that follow diagnosis of the causes of maladjustment or the favorable development. In case study method, there is a cycle of case study method. This is the recognition and determination of the status of the phenomenon to be investigated. Collection of data relative to the factors or circumstances associated with a given phenomenon. Diagnosis or identification of causal factors as a basis for remedial or development treatment. Application or remedial or adjustment measures. Subsequent follow-up to determine the effectiveness of the corrective or development measures applied. And that's all for today. Thank you.